So these are the Sonos Ace, and these are a very good first try from Sonos. These headphones have amazing build quality. I really like their case, and you can easily use them with different wired connections. However, the Sonos Ace really struggles when it comes to their sound, active noise cancellation, ambient mode, and microphone for phone calls. Nonetheless, if you're thinking about picking up the Sonos Ace, let's see what these headphones are all about. So first, there's pricing. The Sonos Ace retail for $450, pretty typical for there to be a Sonos tax. However, for these, you are paying for improved build quality and accessories. I think these headphones are a good first try, but these would not be my top pick. Nonetheless, if you want to pick these headphones up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up a Big Head approved hat, link down below. We've got trucker hats and snapbacks. By buying a hat, you help the unbiased and unsponsored videos coming, and it also helps us cover more products and produce more versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's already bought a hat, and look out for more designs coming soon. And also, please remember to hit that like button, and let's get subscribed. So first, there's the case. Now, the Sonos Ace have a lay flat design to them, meaning that their case has a pretty big footprint to it. However, this case is surprisingly thin. So even though this case has a large footprint to it, it's not as big of a hassle to store it in your backpack as, like, let's say the Sony 1000XM5's case, or the Sennheiser Momentum 4's, or Bowers & Wilkins PX7S2's. And honestly, since this case is so thin, I think it's comparable to your smaller options like the Bose QC Ultra, QC, or Sony 1000XM4's case. Overall, I'm pleasantly surprised by the Ace's case. It's thin, but it's still very hard, so it's going to keep your headphones well protected. However, I do worry how this fabric outer shell is going to stand up to wear and tear if you're going to be traveling a lot with these headphones. But something that I do find very interesting is that this case has a removable pocket for your cables, which magnetically attaches itself back to the case. Overall, Sonos did a great job with their case, and they didn't cheap out like Apple did with their AirPod Max. But with the case out of the way, let's talk about the headphones themselves. From a material standpoint, there's a lot to like here. First off, the Ace has plastic on the ear cups and the top portion of the headband. However, the plastic on the ear cups has a slight soft touch feel to it, whereas the plastic on the headband has a smoother feel to it. Now, the ear cups on these headphones pivot and swivel a good amount, and the arms on this headband glide out very similarly to the arms found on the AirPod Max. And then on the headband, like I mentioned, we have plastic on the top, and there's a very well padded leatherette on the bottom. And overall, the leatherette on the Ace feels great. It's very soft, supple, and it has a slight grain to it. Honestly, the leatherette on the Ace feels very similar to Bose's last gen headphones, because the leatherette on Bose's current gen headphones, like the QC and QC Ultra, doesn't feel as good as its predecessors. But also, the earpads on the Sonos Ace are easily removable because they are magnetically attached like the AirPod Max's earpads, and this is great either for cleaning or for general replacing. Overall, from a material standpoint, the Sonos Ace do not disappoint, and they feel very premium. But then, when it comes to their design and fit, the Sonos Ace have a neutral fit to them, meaning that they aren't too tight and they aren't too loose. And I will say that these are Big Head approved. And even if you like to wear hats, these will have you covered. But from a design standpoint, personally, I was shocked at just how low profile these headphones look. Both their headband and ear cups are very low profile. And even though the headband on these headphones is relatively thin, it's just wide enough and has enough padding on it where hotspots are not an issue on these headphones, like with the headband found on the Sony 1000XM5s. And even though the ear cups on these headphones are very low profile, these ear cups are still very spacious. So even if you have very large ears or ears that stick out a lot, these will have you covered as well. However, my main critique about these earpads is that this padding has a lot of surface area that's coming in contact with your skin. Plus, this padding is very soft, and it also seems like the padding likes to collect a lot of heat, meaning that these earpads can get a little warm a little fast. So if you're planning on walking to work with these, you might end up with sweaty ear cups. But the main thing to look out for on these headphones, fit-wise, is going to be their weight. Since the Sonos Ace are using premium materials, that also means that they're going to be a little heavier. The Sonos Ace weigh in at 312 grams. Now, it's nowhere near as bad as the AirPod Max, which weigh in at 380 grams, but the Ace are noticeably heavier than your Sony 1000XM4s, which weigh in at 255 grams, the Bose QC Ultra, which weigh in at 254 grams, the Sony 1000XM5s, which weigh in at 250 grams, and the Bose QCs, which weigh in at 235 grams. Now, the weight on the Sonos Ace isn't as big of an issue as the weight on the AirPod Max. However, with the Sonos Ace, these are a pair of headphones that you really feel them shifting around when they're on your head, when you're walking around with them on, and you never really forget that you're wearing them when you're sitting with them while at your desk or while in bed. Now, when it comes to tech specs, these headphones have an advertised battery life of 30 hours with their active noise cancellation turned on, which is a little above average for premium ANC headphones in 2024. And if you were to use these headphones with their active noise cancellation turned off, then you can always extend their battery life that way. However, if you were to use these headphones with their head tracking feature turned on, that is going to take an additional toll on the battery life. Now, when it comes to charging these headphones, they charge via a USB-C port, as they should, and they have pretty typical fast charging numbers as well. If you were to charge these headphones up from a dead battery for 3 minutes, they're going to get you 3 hours of playback time. But also, this USB-C port is the only port that you'll find on these headphones. Unfortunately, they don't have an audio jack. However, you can use this USB-C port as a wired connection, and these headphones also come included with a USB-C to audio jack cable. So you can still easily use these headphones with a wired connection if you're on an airplane. And I really appreciate that Sonos included the USB-C to audio jack cable, but it does seem that Sonos just doesn't have the same courage as Apple to charge you separately for an audio cable. However, with the Sonos Ace, even if you want to use them with a wired connection, they have to be powered on. Unfortunately, you can't use these headphones passively, which could be something to be mindful of if you plan on traveling a lot with these headphones. But when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, these headphones can be connected to any two Bluetooth devices at the same time, regardless of ecosystem. So you can easily hot swap from one device to another, which is great if you're a power user with, let's say, an iPhone and a Windows PC. But when it comes to overall performance, these headphones have zero latency across the board when watching movies or videos on your phone, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device. However, I have noticed some random disconnections here and there, so hopefully Sonos will fix this through a future software update. But when it comes to audio codecs, these headphones have support for SBC, AAC, and aptX. Just keep in mind that if you do want to take advantage of aptX, you do have to be an Android user because iPhones top out at AAC. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Simply said, the Sonos Ace lean towards a very bright sound signature. These things are brighter than Shannon Sharp's teeth. Now, a bright sound signature means that the vocals are going to be very pronounced on these headphones. However, since the vocals are so prominent on these headphones, the details in the instrumentals do take a hit, and the bass on these headphones is very flat. First off, the bass on these headphones does not kick all that much, so you're not going to physically feel the bass all that much, and the bass on these headphones does not resonate all that much either. So due to the lack of instrumentals and bass on these headphones, the Sonos Ace aren't all that much fun to listen to. And watching movies on these headphones is even less fun due to the lack of bass on these headphones. Now, you can go in and adjust the EQ on these headphones, but even if you were to crank up the bass on these headphones all the way up, you're not going to get all that much bass out of them. And even if you were to get really drastic and lower the treble on these headphones as well, they're just gonna sound super shallow. Now, the Sonos Ace also does the whole head tracking thing, but I think that's just a gimmick, so I never use it on any of my headphones. And if you have a Sonos soundbar, you can easily connect these headphones to your soundbar and use them to watch movies with, but since, like I just said, since the Sonos Ace doesn't have all that much bass, watching movies with these headphones isn't all that much fun. Overall, I can only recommend the Sonos Ace to people that think that Bose's headphones have too much bass. Now, when it comes to the media controls, the Ace are using physical buttons. There's a slider that you can press to play and pause, and double press to skip through your music, and if you were to slide it up or down, you can easily adjust your volume. Overall, the slider is very easy to use, and it's a great option for someone that doesn't want to deal with touchpads. And the Sonos Ace also has wear sensors, so when you take these headphones off, they'll automatically pause your music, and when you put them back on, they'll start playing your music again. Now, personally, I don't really care for wear sensors on my headphones, so I usually just turn them off, but they're there if you want them. But the important thing here is these wear sensors don't randomly play and pause your music if you're walking around with them on. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these headphones. The Sonos Ace block out a lot of noise. However, the Sonos Ace have a lot of cabin pressure. I feel these actually have more cabin pressure than the Bose QC35s from back in the day. But so that you can see how much noise these headphones block out, we're gonna go ahead and jump into an ANC test. So, like you may have just seen, the Sonos Ace block out a lot of noise, and if you look at the audio levels, the Sonos Ace was producing the lowest readings here. However, both the Bose QC Ultra and Sony 1000XM5 did a noticeable better job of blocking out that low frequency hum from the road noise, and they did a better job of suppressing the sudden loud spike from the chatter. Overall, the Sonos Ace block out a lot of noise, and if you were to just look at the charts, the Ace block out more noise than the Bose and Sony. But if you actually use them in real life, both the Bose and Sony do a better job of mitigating that noise pollution. But regardless, my main issue with the Sonos Ace is the cabin pressure. When the ANC on these headphones is turned on, there's a lot of pressure on your eardrums, which for me does cause discomfort, and it even causes a little disorientation when walking. Whereas with both of Bose's and Sony's headphones, these do a great job of blocking out noise pollution while not having all that much cabin pressure and discomfort. The ANC on the Sonos Ace is more similar to the ANC on older headphones from like 5 years ago that had a whole lot of cabin pressure to them. But then there's the ambient mode on these headphones. First off, you can't adjust the ambient mode on these headphones to your liking, but more importantly, this ambient mode sounds very artificial. Again, the ambient mode on these headphones sounds like the ambient mode that you would hear on headphones from like 5 years ago. But also, while out and about, this ambient mode sounds like you're underwater, because it's clear that this ambient mode is trying to focus on people's voices and is trying to actively block out unwanted loud sounds. The ambient mode on these headphones is usable, but it sounds off compared to headphones in 2024. But finally, here's the microphone test. And now, the microphone on the Sonos Ace sounds decent enough to take phone calls with while in a quiet room. However, clarity here isn't amazing, and there is a little bit of white noise in the background. Now, when it comes to noise pollution, the Sonos Ace does a decent job of dealing with this constant low frequency sound, like a road noise. Because if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you're going to clearly hear all of this road noise. But if we were to switch back over to the Sonos Ace, it is reduced. However, when it comes to blocking out chatter, the Sonos Ace does struggle quite a bit here. So overall, the microphone on the Sonos Ace is decent. However, I will try to take phone calls with these headphones in a quieter environment. But with all that being said, the Sonos Ace are a great first try from Sonos. They have great build quality, they come with a great thin and hard case, and I really appreciate that they come with both USB-C and audio jack cables. However, these headphones sound very bright and they don't have all that much kick in their bass, making them boring to listen to music with or to watch movies with. Yes, they block out a lot of noise, but they don't block out as much noise as your staples like the Sony 1000 XM5s or Bose QC Ultra, and more importantly, they have a lot of cabin pressure. Their ambient mode sounds very artificial and it sounds like you're underwater. Their microphone is just decent and you can't use them passively. Overall, these are a great first try from Sonos, but for me, the Sonos Ace are hard to justify. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.